Welcome to Pair Transparency. We're your hosts,
Egon Bumi.
Annihilation.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ataraxis, a place of unity, peace, and growth. Today's topic is loving people with conditions. What's the true quality of... Wait a minute, I said that wrong. What's the true... Oh, right. I'm like, what? Can't read my own notes, girls. I'm sorry. What's the true quality of loving under hidden conditions? I know. I did it. Okay. So, what is the definition of conditional? Is actually not absolute, made or allowed on certain terms. So, how is it that you get involved with a person and then you tell them that you love them, but by definition, it's made or allowed on certain terms? So is that really considered love? And why is it that we always put ourselves in a situation where we're loving someone unconditionally? Is it because we really don't understand what unconditional means? And why is it that that's what we revert to? Well, okay, since you did that, I'm going to take myself away from you because you did that. But is that really love? And I'm past the mic too. And I am.
Are you sure? Because I talk a lot. Are you sure?
I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back. But right now, I need you to expound. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So, a lot of people, when it comes to unconditional love, because they never experience it, so it tends to be something that they are afraid of. So, if someone comes along and be like, all right, I'm only going to give you this much, and you can see it in their actions. They don't need to say it in their words, but you can see it in their actions. Like, they'll be around you, they'll sleep with you, right? And maybe even live with you. But when it comes to being like the simple things of, I want to tell the world I love you, no. Because in their mind, they were like, I'm not going to do that and be foolish. And then we be broken up. Be like, but Negro, you've been with that person for 5 years. You know what I mean? When are you going? I don't want everybody knowing my business, but everybody see you with him or her shopping. People see you in the car together. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to make it make sense. My thing about it is, when you love an unconditional, it's most time meaning that person have one foot in, one foot out, and sometimes they stay longer than they want to, but it's just like saying you're going to go to jail, right? For a crime that you did not commit. I'm going to let you simmer outside. You don't know when we're going to pick you up. Right. You don't know when we're going to pick you up and haul you to jail. How you think life's going? You're going to be looking over your shoulder. Right. Until that day they come and grab you. And then you're gonna have relief because you're gonna be panicked, but you're gonna have relief because you're like, I ain't gotta worry. But that's how being in a relationship and with hidden conditions. Because there's women out there. And what I want to say is, I want to say this one thing, and I'm not going to speak on women. How we're going to do it is we're going to do it different, right? I want you to talk about women, and I can't say anything about women because then that's my feeling. And then if you talking about men, that's your feeling. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap, right? I'm going to get men corrected, and you're going to get women corrected. So that way, when men hear it, right, they have no other excuse. They can't say, okay, well, nah, she's just speaking out of, you can't say that because I don't date men, but I know where we go wrong. And you don't date women.
But I know where we go wrong. Yeah.
Right.
I can't speak for every woman, but I can give my perspective. Let me sure that we say that right, because there'd be a lot of angry people like, I don't think like that. But some of y'all fall in that scenario, fortunately. So fair is fair.
Like a dog, and it
don't necessarily mean it's a dog.
It's a damn dog.
It can be a rabbit. It can be a rabbit.
Right. If it eats
the music,
rabbit food, it hot.
No, it's a rabbit.
Kangaroo.
Do you still have the music playing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna play this? Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to enlighten you, my brother. I'm sorry. For me, my experience, and I can only go by my experience, being a woman and talking to other women, as why we love conditionally. Because when we go in it, a lot of women go into a situation with conditional love because of past hurts, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, get over it." But it's easy for you to tell me to get over it when it was traumatizing to me because I actually love that person, right? So then it's like, okay, well, I want to be in a relationship because we do. We want to go into relationships. Sometimes it turns it off from relationships, but those women who want to enter into a relationship, you still have that traumatizing situation in the back of your mind, but you're not allowing it to stop you from loving, but yet and still, you want to move forward with another person, but you haven't healed from that completely. So what happens is I'm gonna give you me, but you can't have all of me. Okay, but when next time you do that, I'm out. You know what I mean? Or if you say this and it triggers me, I'm out. And that is not fair to the person that you're actually involved with because they haven't had an opportunity to mess up yet. You see what I'm saying? And then that's when that conditional comes in because I still got to protect me from what you possibly can do to me. And that's when the conditional comes in. And a lot of times too, especially for women of color, Nubian women, we take on a lot. We take a lot, we compress it, but we keep moving forward. And what ends up happening is we don't know when to unplug. And because we don't know when to unplug, we endure longer than we're supposed to. I believe you hit that on that earlier. So when we're enduring when we longer than we're supposed to, then what end up happening is we end up building these conditional walls, right? Because it's for our protection. And that wall is to protect you from actually being hurt again. But what's actually doing is stopping you from allowing yourself to be loved by the right person. So it is like, okay, so now that you're noticing that you're developing these isms from being with the wrong mate, now your whole situation with this person is nothing but conditional. Oh, Negro, you know what? You didn't take out the trash, so no head for you. Uh, you didn't make me a lunch, or you didn't buy me lunch. So at this point, I'm not cooking for you tonight. You know what I mean? Or better yet, since you didn't do this, I'm not going to do that. And that's not how relationships supposed to be, because you're always supposed to be in a situation where you're trying to outlove that person you're with. And then it shouldn't be conditions. So it's almost like now what you have to do, ladies, is go to yourself. If that man is not giving you a reason to put up that bridge, to put up that, but you still have these conditions and you still have these isms from your last relationship, it's not fair to him. So basically you need to get to yourself and heal, or either you're going to let it go, as somebody always tells me, let it go. Let it go. Why are you putting that situation in this situation when it's new? He hasn't even had the opportunity to mess up yet. Or better yet, this man has been good to you for 5 years. He hasn't did anything that one did, but yet still you still love him with condition and in fear of being hurt. So it's almost like, in that case, you really need to start your healing, because it's not fair for that person. And you're not moving forward. You're just in a situation, which means you're not truly loving or being loved in the full capacity that you can be, because you're still loving conditionally. And I passed the mic to a Emperor
Well,
Nod.
I have a question before you pass
Sure,
it.
of
So,
course.
so my thing is, and this is just my theory. And when I when I have clients coming into my office, right, whether they male or female, I
Mm-hmm,
always play this little game with them. Like I give them a theory, right?
mm-hmm,
So I'm about to give you a theory, right? So imagine there's a woman, male, because we talking about women right now. So imagine there's a woman that goes to a car lot and she buy a brand new car,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So she's driving that brand new car, and then suddenly one day you get a flat tire, right?
mm-hmm.
What you gonna do? Go change the tire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's say, all right, now the car have oil problems because you didn't get an oil change, right? So now it doesn't mess up your engine. So
Mm-hmm,
now what you do is you go boom. That person say, well, that car messed up. Let me go get a new one, right? So
mm-hmm,
now another woman come in and she get that same car, right? But
mm-hmm,
the other woman traded in that car, got something better, right? So this car been through some things. So what happens is now another woman have this car. right? And then it happens again. Something wrong happened with this car or whatever. What I'm basically saying, there's always going to be issues, and we have to stop putting numbers and like limitations on issues, because at the end of the day, instead of realizing everybody's been through every single body.
That's true.
If you're going in telling me that car had flat tires and that car had this, then that means you see no value in that car, right? So if you see no value in that car, why are you entertaining that car?
Where's
why are you even driving it?
Where's
what
I'm saying? Where's the clap?
My thing is, I get tired of people that go and they complain and say, I can't trust this thing, or I can't trust that woman. But you can trust her if she's making you food, or you can trust him with the food. You can trust him to have sex with him unprotected. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can trust them to do all the fun things, but you can't trust them with the simple things. Instead of saying, I can't trust you, figure out why that person doing whatever it is that's bothering you. That's when you communicate that issue. Because there's some men out there that, do some messed up things. They do some really horrible things. But they always have a reason for those horrible things. But if you nip those reasons in the bud, because I know what everybody says, I don't care about their reasons. But guess what? You got the reasons why you do the things you do.
That's true.
Reasons why you take away sex, why you don't want to talk, why you don't want to be engaged. They have their reasons too.
Right,
so if you're saying you don't care about their reasons, they don't care about your reasons. So then that whole, it's my body. You know what I mean? I don't, but if you are making an agreement to be in this relationship, if you use that word, it's my body, then he can use the word, I go out and get somebody. You know what I mean? It's your body. You don't want it. I respect it. I'll just go get somebody. But now you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't. But, all right, that's all I want to say. But my thing is, going on men, right? When we hurt more than women, we don't want to admit it. But our actions show.
Ooh, like, that's true.
When they say there's nothing like a woman scoring, she ain't got nothing on men. True. When I say men, ours is we get hurt by one woman, we dog out the next 10 women. We're cheaters. We this because we don't trust from that one person. Why in a woman's stance it takes over time, in a man's stance it takes one time. There's men that's in their 40s that's hurting women because what somebody did in their teenage.
That's true.
We have to sit up here and self-reflect and say, yo, it's always the circle, it's always a process. We need to, it was no matter if you're male or female, you need to sit up here and tell yourself and say, listen, that person, that individual hurt me. Not every individual, because if you go and you say, hey, men ain't shit, your mindset is going to look at men ain't shit. Just like how we hate when, Caucasian people or Asian people or whatever, they come and say, black people are lazy. Black people are this. They put us all in the same boat. And we looking like,
they do.
Hell no.
What the heck?
Well, some
I'm working 3 jobs. Right.
But why are you putting every male or every woman in the same boat? Category. You can't. It's doing the same thing. You double it. You pulling down the standard of who we are as people. You get what I mean? So you gotta keep things as, Shay ain't nothing. I dated Shay. She was a horrible woman, but you also have to take the emotion out, because sometimes Shay is a terrible partner. Yeah. But she might be a great friend. Yeah. So the ones that be like, oh, she's just an overall terrible person. No, that's you. She's not. Because you don't. There's some people that got goodness in them. And if you don't want to see the goodness, this is why when you go in these relationships, you go and you sit there and you trying to start a new relationship, and that person, oh, they were just terrible. They just then I go and say, well, what did you do? And then they have to think about it. Like, no, tell me, because I'll be honest. I'll be like, yo, sometimes I'm spoiled. You know what I mean? Like,
Sometimes.
most of the time I'm spoiled.
Trying to
You
enlighten me,
get what I
brother.
mean? Right.
Yeah.
So, is that what we're going to do?
Right
But
here with it. Right here. Yes.
my thing is, I can be spoiled. That's my downfall, because I'll be needy. Like, yo, and then sometimes I would assume sometimes, and I'll be like, I get in my feelings and I go by myself. You'd be like, yo, why are you in your feelings? So I have to check myself a lot of times to get things right. And that's why I try to teach people, when you're going into situations, understand what you're going into and understand what you can bring to that situation, not what you can get, because you can always get something, right? If I date a woman that has 4 children, I need to be a father to those 4 children. If that woman tell me I don't need to be a father to those 4 children, I would say, and I'm going to exit. You want to know why? Because she's not looking for a father, which is my role naturally, right? She's just looking for a man, not a husband, a man.
Can't separate the two, though.
Yeah, you can't separate the two. But some women do that. They don't want anything for their kids. But you have to pay attention to the word. Yeah. Because when a man comes in, and you can tell there's 3 different types of men, right? There's men that don't have their stuff together, that they're serial daters, right? And they would date you because you have a nice car or a place to live, right? You could be a broke chick. You got a place to live. You're up.
You're a commodity.
They'll come up.
You hot on the list.
You'll come up for them because they ain't got a place to go.
Wow.
So
that's real.
But these are the things. Like, you gotta. It's not about your mentality. This is why some of those men, they will stay with women, right? They will stay with women even though they ain't shit themselves, but they will stay with the women, right? Cause all this confusion because of the fact of where they at, what they need from them, and then when they find a woman with something better, then they move. This is why you hear women say, I gave him this. I got him bracelets. I fixed him up. I did it. And guess what?
Glasses.
Because he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be there. He was looking at this as a stepping stone to say, you know what? I'm going to deal with your bullshit. I'm going to deal with your belittling. I'm going to deal with that, and I'm out of here.
But to insert there.
Yeah.
They give us signs, though, that is conditional. You know what I mean? And women, we get into the I'm going to buy you mentality because no other woman is going to do this for you. Not realizing that he's actually preparing for the other woman. He don't want her to do that. That's what he got you for. And I think us as women, we don't pay attention to the signs because we feel as though this is me showing him that I love him, when actually all he's looking for is this. So we can't even get mad at that guy because we completely ignored these signs. We got to be accountable for the stuff that we allow to happen to us. I'm gonna say that again. We have to be accountable for the stuff we allow to happen to us.
So can I say one thing though?
Sure.
One thing? I want to say women need to understand women, and this is coming from a man.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I said women need to understand one thing, and this is coming from a man. They have to understand that any woman can buy them. Any woman. You might have more money than other women, but there's going to be women out there with less money and still get them gifts. Yes. You know what I mean? That's cool. Any woman can do that. But a lot of women can't be that man's peace. You can take any man, whether he's an ain't shit nigga, or he's a workaholic, or he don't communicate, not affectionate. Any man, right? And you give him these 4 things, that man is going to change for you. The reason why is he can't get those 4 things anywhere. This is why I tell people, when I tell women, be something that man can't get out in the market, right? Because if you think about it, when you go out anywhere in the dating scene, you can always get pussy. Just like with men, you can always get dick, right? You can always get them 2 things, right?
Women can always get dick.
Yeah, I'm speaking for everybody.
Yeah.
So you always get pussy for men. You can always get dick for women, right? You can always get a person that's going to take you out and somewhere in the beginning or whatever and smile in your face. You can always get that, right? You can always get a person that's going to try to, be charming to your kids or whatever. Always get that. But what you can't get is you can't get a person that's going to communicate with you when they're upset with you.
That's true.
Not talk at you, not yell at you, not this, not, you know what I'm saying?
Now what?
And yeah, that
Yeah.
might not be every time, but you're not going to get that, right? Then you're not going to get a person that says, I'm apologizing for what I've done and sincerely change and say, you know what? I can't live without you. I will fight for you. Even though we was at odds. Just to say, yo, I will fight for you.
Right.
We wasn't agreeing, but I will fight for you. You won't get a person that sit over here and without you saying a word, will take your clothes out or will rub your feet because your feet swollen or they hurt. You know what I mean? No matter how tired they are.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, and then the fourth thing is a person that you can actually sit down with and y'all come up with life goals together. Y'all come up with, say, hey, these are the things that's going through life right now that we got going on, right? And you sitting up there and y'all planning things together. They're not in their mind thinking of single individual and saying, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this, but then be like, I'm stressed. So I'm like, you got a whole partner right there.
Right.
You know, why are y'all not coming up with these things together? You know, it's mine because I don't tell her or I don't tell him. Like, why? But y'all supposed to be a unit. Why you can't say you're one thing and doing another? You can't go and say, hey, I love this woman, but I don't love her kid.
How?
Can't go and say I don't love this man. I had this a lot to being a single father and saying they don't want nothing to do with my kids. The first thing, listen, I left probably a lot of women alone when they was telling me, how did I get her child? I was like, excuse me? Her child? I could have sworn this child belongs to us.
Yeah.
Like, yo. So I don't argue with those type of people. That's your mindset. Whether you want to say that wasn't disrespectful or not, I have to understand your mindset. And because my mindset is this, I can't be with you. Because if I have a baby with you, you already told me that you're going to believe that baby is your child, not mine. I'm just here for money.
Yeah. That's a strong condition.
Exactly. And I just had a conversation with someone yesterday about child support. I think child support is stupid. And a lot of people going to disagree with me, but they need to hear me out. Child support is when two grown people cannot get along. Like y'all like each other when y'all had sex, right? Cool. You went in a raw, you got to own up to that. That's what you did. If I sit over there and broke a window, am I not going to pay for that window?
Absolutely.
I'm going to pay for that window.
Absolutely.
So if I'm having a child by someone that I slept with, why don't I sit over there and say, yo, let's come up with a plan. I might not have a lot of money, but I can help, and on the flip side, women need to allow the man to help on his budget. You can't clock this dude he making $15 an hour, so you want $10 an hour of his money. Like, nah, that's not right, because if y'all was living together, you wouldn't have that $10 an hour of his money. But think about it, we got to be realistic. We can't sit over here and think that we're going to date a person, right? And all of a sudden we stop dating them, they rich. They got more money than, forget social media. You slept with that person. You know that person ain't shit and that person's a fraud. So why the hell you going to believe them now that you ain't with them?
But
what, you flashed a couple 20? Go ahead.
Back to the child support thing. I think that child support comes into place when two immature people that kids can't come to terms, right? And it's unfortunate that we have to put white people in our business. That's the downfall. But at the same time, though, if you're not willing to meet me with the responsibility of this kid, that's why we revert to child support. You make a very good sense, though. But if you know the chances of you getting this person pregnant, you know that the chances of the kid needs to be taken care of. I shouldn't have to chase you to take care of your kid, and vice versa. That don't mean when I pay you child support, don't mean you go and buy it on a new body or a purse. You know what I mean?
That's,
Or something and it's not going towards the baby at all. But then again,
mm-hmm.
that's dealing with the maturity of each individual in the situation. And like I said, and I'm always gonna say, we spend more time shopping for shoes than we do shopping for our mates, and it's unfortunate, but that's the condition of selfishness. We're both selfish, so I don't think. And then to piggyback what you were saying earlier too about being in a household and you're involved with somebody and they tell you these are my kids. So what is the point of me being here for? What, a paycheck? Or you wanted just sex? Or you wanted to feel like you wanted somebody in a household, but I'm not able to discipline or father your children? That's an issue. And women do it all the time. Don't talk to my kids like that. But I feed your kids. I clothe your kids. I meet their emotional needs. You know what I mean? And then you got the flip side of that too. Some stepfathers are jerks. Let's just be honest. So it's just like, that's a condition though. But if you can't love me, and for the life of me, I can't understand how women can get involved with a man that don't mess with your kids. Because now you're just thinking about an overall need, but you're not thinking about the emotional support of your kid.
Half of the time, those women don't mess with their own kids.
And that's the thing too. I don't understand how you can create life. God gave you the opportunity to bear a child. That's the most beautiful thing you could have done. And there's a lot of people that pays millions just to get pregnant, adopt kids daily. And then some of them deny, but you are able to give your womb is fruitful, but you don't want to interact with something that's a part of you. That's an identity crisis as far as I'm concerned. That's something deep. That's something dysfunctional, because there's no way that you can look at this life and not want to love it and take care of the baby and give the baby the best life, whether it's with you or somebody else. But how could you not love that person that's an extension of you? Totally confusing.
Sometimes people, even so, a lot of people think, love under conditions. They just think it's in the relationship, and it's not. It's anyone you love. There's people out there that only love their kids under the conditions of they getting attention from the other partner. You get what I mean? And once the other partner is out there, they treat the kids like crap. And this is male and female,
that is true.
or woman or man. So
that is true.
And then you have some people that or they love their kids. They overly love their kids because no one loves them. They want to use them for their body. And then you will see, and they be like, well, my kid's my man, and my kid, and that's, and because I've been in relationships where I'm like, I'm dating a woman, and she's telling me I'm jealous of the bond that she has with her son. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you treat this man like he's a grown man, and you treat me like a kid. Like, that's not no bueno. This dude is 12 years old. He can go out the house whenever you want. He don't have to tell you nothing. Or you want to sit down and you want to hear his opinion. But when I'm talking to you, you don't hear shit I got to say. That's why I don't like it. I'm like, but you want me to listen to a 12-year-old? This nigga been on earth. It's 12 years. You want me? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, babe, but I understand that mentality though, because you can walk out the door tomorrow. My child is going to be here, but it's a way to do that though. It's not a way. It's a way to do it that she's not undermining you as a man and not putting more responsibility on a child. You see what I'm saying? Is it right? No.
I get it, but this is the double-edged sword. Not to cut you off, but this is the double-edged sword, right? You're pushing me out the door. I'm not walking up. You're pushing me out the door, right? And even if I choose to stay and put up with this and wait for this kid to grow up and be an adult, right? After he leaves, you never got in, because everything is about habit, right?
Yeah.
You never got in the habit of respecting me as your man, right? You respect your child. So then, right, if you look at it, once the child leaves, this is why divorce rates are high when children leave the nest when they graduate. Why? Because people only stay together
for the children.
For the children to go.
I hate that.
And I don't want to be with you. But this is the thing. They create the distance. Exactly. Because the woman or the man, they hate the environment, but they put their whole bag into the children. Let me do it for the children. I'm just here for the children. And then once the children leave, I'm counting down 18. Boom, I'm out of there. Right?
But little do they know that the kids is paying attention to that toxic environment, though.
Exactly. But it's so much easier to say, listen, I apologize for everything I ever done. Mm-hmm. I apologize for not being here for you. I apologize for changing up. And this can be said by men and women. And you sit there and apologize for your shit and say, let's start over. Right? Because it's easier to start over, to get rid of all the stuff you swept under the rug, than rather you having lumpy ass rugs. And you just push stuff under the rug. And you like, man, I don't want to date this guy. I don't want to date this woman. I look at it and I don't care about, listen, if we don't kiss no more, if we don't touch anymore, that's not a marriage. That's not a relationship. So don't call me your husband if we're not kissing. Don't call me your husband if we're not intimate, having sex. Mm-hmm. I'm not your husband. I'm your roommate. You got to speak facts, but we got a paper. No, I'm just your roommate. Don't call me your wife if I'm not your wife when you go out this door and you in front of these other women's faces. Don't call me your wife if that's what it is. Don't call me your wife if you want to call me out my name when you get angry. You know what I'm saying? That's both of them. Because,
I'm guilty of that though. I'm so guilty
of that. Don't call me your husband or your partner when you are not being a partner to me and you keep it secret. When we're not growing together, we ain't trying to grow together. If things come up in life, let's talk about it. Let's come up with a plan, right? If you can't feel to come up with a plan with me, then I'm not your partner. Don't tell me I'm your partner and we can't come up with a plan on life together and face life. If it's going to be something that affects us, we need to do it together. Go ahead.
And even to come up with a plan, we still got to be able to communicate. I can't come up with a plan with you if I can't communicate. And then not only that, but to be able to see when you give your input and not me being totally in control and I don't care about what you got to say about it, because it has to be a compromise. To be able to hear what you have and to implement what I have, and then we both mush that together to get a goal. And then that's where you come up with the plan. And I think a lot of people have control issues. And a lot of it is because they're scared of being dropped, because we have been dropped before. So to be able to say, for a woman to sit next to a man and be like, babe, I totally trust you with me. You see what I'm saying? With no conditions at all. I totally trust you with me. You have a lot of women that's submissive to their husband. And I know a lot of women hate that word. I ain't submissive. Fuck that. If you really had a man that gave you no reason to doubt him, you're going to submit. And it's not even on purpose. Like, you don't even know you're doing it, because he goes out his way to show you he's that person for you. He does whatever. You don't even have to ask him for stuff. He's one of them dudes you look up and he already have your breakfast made. He got your car cleaned out from the snow. You know what I mean? Babe, give me your car keys. He's filling up your car with gas. Them type of men. You're going to submit because he's not giving you a reason to not trust him. And if a woman's sitting next to that man, and then I'm looking at you like, what's the game plan? And he actually gives you a game plan, and he makes sure that you stay on task. That's when it becomes not conditional. Now we're in unconditional territory, because you didn't give me a reason to have my conditional red flags, right? And I didn't give you any. So now that we're able to sit down, like you said, and come up with a plan, and it's working, that's when you get my unconditional love. And that's, for some people, that's when it starts. Instead of looking at this man like, you know what? You chose me. I chose you. I shouldn't put conditions on you. And I did in the past, and I apologize to you because you have not failed me in no category at all. You have never dropped me. So for that, I trust you. So I grab you by your hand and let's walk it out. And it's a lot of us women that can't do that because we're so stuck on past, or we're so paralyzed by fear because we didn't watch our sister or our best friend or our mother even and our grandmother go through things and believe, and we project that in our situation. And that has nothing to do with us because you actually got a man that's that man to you. And that's what we need to get over. Stop paying attention to everybody else's relationships. Now, I'm not saying don't take heed, because some things is a learning, it's a lesson. And red flags are always there. We just ignore them. Start paying attention to a red flag. So therefore, years later, you're not like, oh, I was stupid for you. You didn't have to be. But if you got a man that's literally on his game, and the killing part about it is men that's usually on that game are not what we are attracted to. He's not. He's built different. He smells different. You know what I mean? He looks different. But they're one of the men that we ignore. But that's the man that's going to be your rock for you. Unfortunately, because we're never given what we want. We always given what we need. And that's what we need to understand. The universe is always going to give you what you need. Now, if you got what you need and what you want in the same man, that's gold. But I think us as women, we need to get out of the conditions of even dating a guy, because that man for you is not always going to have that 6-figure job.
I think that's idiotic. That's the media. I feel, not to cut you off, but I feel when a woman say, I want a man with 6 figures, good body, da, 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 and I say, oh, so you want to be alone? And they be like, what do you mean? I said, all right, let's flip side, right? You heard what you said, right? You want a man with 6 figures. You want him to have a good body. Nowadays, you want a bald head and a beard too, right? Cool. But look, now we're going to flip side it. Now you see how you heard that with pride? Then let's flip side. I want a woman with a tight waist, big ass. I want her to have 6 figures, and I want her to have real long hair. You see? With you hearing this, why are you being judgmental? Nah, because what you give, you have to accept. You have to accept the same thing that you're giving out to the world. So when you say you want a man with 6 figures and you won't bring home not even 2 figures, and what I mean by 2 figures, I'm not talking about 50 grand, 50, 60 grand, because 50, 60 grand is nothing nowadays. But you bring home 30 grand, talking about you want a man with 6 figures. Get out of here. You have to get along with the world nowadays, because the world nowadays, especially if you're a brother and you're a sister, the world is not out here for us, right? And 90% of the black men out here, they're not making 6 figures. They're not even making 5 figures. So now they're good men though. They're good men that they sitting up there, they hard worker and everything like that. But the thing about it is, let me tell you what comes with a man that makes 6 figures, 5 figures, let's say 3 figures, right? Let me tell you what comes with it. These men don't have no time for your bullshit. These men don't have no time for your brokenness, your non-trust. They don't. Because the first thing that they will do is they'll do the same thing a woman would do. See, a woman is more, like, you remember what we said earlier? Women take on more than men. Because when men are broken, they don't. This is why men that have their stuff together, they'll put you out in a heartbeat. They won't put up with you.
For sure.
Name calling, all that, get out. Peace. A woman would put up with the name calling, put up that, and then want to put you out after a whole bunch of men. Men don't do that. This is what comes with it. You can't expect a 6-figure man, 5-figure, 3-figure man to act like he have nothing, because that dude knows his worth. Same thing what I want my sisters to do is know your worth, know your value. You don't have to be like, I can't trust this man because even though he didn't give me nothing to do, nothing to lose my trust, I can't trust him because of what I've been through. Know your worth. Know that what you're worth, and know, hey, I'm worth trusting. I'm worth loving. I'm worth this. I'm worth that. Right? And once that
Mm.
man starts showing you that your worth and his value of you is different, you let him know that you acknowledge and say, yo, the value that you put me at is not my worth. And
Right.
I don't accept that. So once you let him know and he still continue, cut him loose. He say,
Got
nah, I'm
to.
good.
You
But
got, and
that's how simple it works.
but see,
Go ahead.
but we don't do that though. See what I'm saying? I think too, by us being natural nurturers, natural problem solvers, it's like we go through all the mess hoping for change. You know what I mean? You know how they say you fall in love with somebody's potential, or we get with somebody hoping that they will change because of us. And that's not necessarily always true. Now, you do got some men that get with good women and they do change. And then you got some men that do the totally opposite. They get with good women and they end up being the most horrible experience a woman can have. But at the end of the day, us as women, we have to stop trying to put a band-aid over a stab wound. If the dude is showing us that he's not that guy, we have to learn how to walk away. And not because he don't have the best job, or not because, you know what I mean, he may not do everything that we want him to do, but he's just not he's just a dog dude. You know what I mean? And there's a difference in that. And being okay with walking away. Stop trying to make it, stop putting more romance on his bullshit. And come to the terms it's bullshit. And get the fuck over it. And we do that too. Oh, he's not that bad. Oh, we were in love. No, bruh. He's been dogging you from day one. When y'all was together, he's been cheating on you for day one. It's 7 years later. And he's still doing the same shit. Like, stop putting more romance on it than what it really was. And I think we fall into that situation as well. And it's sometimes because we want to do more than what our mother and father did. We want to do more than all the women in our family. We actually want to get married. We actually want to stay married. You know what I mean? Or we want to keep up with the Joneses because all our friends are getting married. So we're going to stick with this shit ass dude, excuse my mouth, because we want that dream situation that their friends have. And that's a setup for failure. A lot of women pressure men in marrying them. A man knows that you're his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an initial conversation, men know that you're his wife. They already know. So therefore, if you were somebody 7 years and he ain't never popped the question, baby, you're not it. And if he's telling you I'm not ready, I'm not saying leave him completely alone, but stop all that wifey duties. Because at the end of the day, what's that saying? If you could get the milk for free, you won't buy the cow. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. But it's the same scenario. Pull back.
Can I plug in real quick? Plug
in. Input.
Now, I get it. I get that. That's the true statement that you just said. But on the flip side of that, because women have to get out of their head that men are always the problem, and it's not. It's not necessarily true.
That is There's so some men
true. That's the problem. If that man didn't marry you after 3 years, right, and y'all been living together and stuff like that, it's you. He don't want to marry you, or it's not that he don't want to marry you, at all. It's he don't want to marry you right now. He wants you to fix some shit. You know what I mean? He wants you to say, like, yo, you might be belittling him and not think of nothing of it. Or you might see him lesser than what he is and not think nothing of it. So we don't want to go into a marriage that way, because a marriage is not the end. It's the beginning. And we understand logically that there's going to be more to come. And if I can't be funny with you and have funny moments and whatever, it's always a show when other people are around, right? But like, just think about it. I live by this concept, right? I always tell people, right? If I'm with a person and their family don't know when my birthday is, that's a problem for me.
Real talk.
You get what I mean? Because that means you don't talk about me and you don't put me on the pedestal like I put you. Because my family members would know your birthday. They would know that, yo, this is a goddess birthday. And, yo, I don't care if y'all don't care about it, but I care about it. The world's going to know. You get what I'm saying? I'm doing posts about I'm doing posts on your pictures and being like, "Happy birthday!" Make it extra. But why am I
Yes.
saying I love you and I can't, make it extra loud? That is Mother's Day. That is your
Mm.
birthday. Do you get what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. But even if you
Hate
celebrate
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, be like, "Yo, this is my Valentine's. This F everybody," right? But you
Mm-hmm.
make them a big deal. And if people don't make you a big deal, guess what? They're showing you what they
Their
think of you.
conditions. Exactly.
You know, they like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for the moment, but this is not permanent."
It's not for
Like you
me.
said, any breakup and any divorce, that couple was separated a whole year before they actually did.
That's crazy.
And people don't understand that. You was doing separate things before you even get divorced and before you even break up. My thing about it is you have to understand what conditions do your partner love you. Because
Mm-hmm.
if they love you unconditionally, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Whether y'all arguing or whether y'all seeing eye to eye or not seeing eye to eye, they won't sit up here and be like, "Oh, it's over. I can't deal with this." They're not going to be
Yeah, I
always
understand.
running to run. Oh, you have
I'm a
to
runner.
some.
I am a runner.
But
I am a
the
runner.
question is, what is it
Mm.
solving? Because if you're running from every situation, right, when times get rough, how can you say I want to be married in a happy marriage? Because you have to go through the grain to get to an understanding. You have to go through the confusion to get to
Mm-hmm.
who, like, hey, when you see that couple that's been married 60 years, 50, 60 years, they say, "Oh, we've been through a lot in the beginning, but we got to an understanding." And
Yeah.
that's what everybody needs to understand. Forget all the materialistics and looking to see if the grass is greener or what your partners, your friends are doing. Worry about, because guess what? You and your friend can date the same guy. Y'all can have two totally different relationships.
That's
You get what I
true.
mean? Or
That's in a
me and
poly
my friend,
situation. Exactly.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
even in monogamous, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
why the reason why a lot of people say don't date my exes, and that nobody want to talk about this stuff. But the reason why people don't want of their friends that they close with dating their exes, even though they know they're not with them no more, is because they
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to see you happy with them. That's the
That
real
is
thing.
true. That's
That would piss them off. They don't want to
that
see
is
that they
true.
changed for you.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were shit for
That'll cause some
me,
shit.
but
Yes.
they're being the best for you, and I hate that. That's the realest.
Yes.
This is why they be like, "That's disrespectful." It's not disrespectful because that's not your man no more. Now, if they was
Yeah.
seeing your man while y'all was together, that's
That's
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
If they was seeing your girlfriend while y'all was together, that's disrespectful. But guess what? If y'all ain't together no more, and a year or two passed, and then all of a sudden they started dating, guess what? They're allowed to do that because they're two adults, and they
I
can
don't
do
know
that.
though. I
Why?
Rick, I told you about the bro code. There's a bro code. You don't
But
touch what
why?
I had, I don't touch what you had. Like I don't want
Because
nothing that my girls blessings
but
been
is that
on.
not
I'm just gonna
claimer?
be honest.
But you're putting claim on something that you don't want anymore. Let me tell
It's
you,
not
my
a
kid's mother.
claim.
But listen, my kid's mother that done a whole bunch. I was trying to give her away. I didn't care
Yeah.
if my
It's not the
homeboys
same
and them
thing.
had they no, it's not. It's the thing about it is I understand. I do not own her. You can go and be in love with. I just want you happy and out of my hair. You
I think
know,
it's a
at the
respect
end of the,
thing.
but how's it disrespectful? Because it's not
Because
that you want that person no more. So how's it disrespecting you?
hear what I'm saying. If my girls, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about my sorors or I'm talking about my girls, like my best friends, my day ones.
Mm-hmm.
And we was in a relationship and you know how I felt for that person. And true enough,
Mm-hmm.
it's years later. And we didn't have a discussion on you trying to date him now. First of all, I think out of respect of our friendship, you know what? I'm digging your ex. I just want to let you know. Not saying that you need my permission. I do believe
Okay.
that that should be a conversation. I do.
So I'm asking
And
you a
that's
question.
just out of respect thing. Because if we're
What?
at a party and you walk through the
Mm-hmm.
door of my ex, and by you being my best friend, you know how I was feeling that dude. You know it. You know how I felt about that person. and then you walk in a party with him. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's weird. We're not together, kudos to you, but bro, that could have been a conversation. Don't let me get shocked about it. Like, that's a conversation. I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna
Now,
cock block
I
you.
respect that. Hmm. I
Because
respect
I'm gonna
that.
tell
Now,
you now, if somebody walked through the door
hmm,
with and we ain't talking about it, and I was saying, him.
yeah.
Oh, boo. See, now flags out, bro, because I don't do it to you. But women do have a code, some of us.
Let
Those
me tell
from
you.
day one. We have a code. Don't date
I
what
guess.
I date, and I don't date what you date. If my girl's glisteners is on him, I don't care if it's 5 years from now. I'm not touching you. Because at
Hmm.
some point she cared enough for you to have sex with you. I can never do that.
Hmm.
It's a no for
So
me.
that I understand everybody's different, but I'm just saying for me,
Hmm.
if if
Well,
I'm
I know where your
somewhere and
loyalty is, my brother. I'm
and
bringing
my
enlightenment to you,
homeboy
my brother.
my homeboy walk in and he's dating someone I date, you think I get two fucks? I don't
So,
even give a
let's
fuck.
say for instance, okay, you said it now, but say for instance,
Yeah.
somebody walked through the door with, I don't know, me. If me and you was digging like that, like we were like head hot and heavy, and your
And we're
frat
not
brother,
together?
bruh,
And we're not
and your
together?
frat brother, you talk. Hold on now. Now we talk about your curious self. We talk about your
Uh-huh.
hot head, over
Yeah.
emotional, petty self,
But this
right?
but
But
yep.
wait a minute. And your best frat, like your frat
Hmm.
brother, but y'all best friends though. Just like your road. Y'all been through some dirt together, right?
Hmm.
But you used to talk to me about me to him. What you
Hmm.
thought was ugly, he thought beautiful, right? We're
Hmm.
walking together. You've seen a look on my face that I didn't have when I was with you. That wouldn't bother
Hmm.
you?
Nope. You wanna know why?
Bullshit.
Because when I no, it's not
Bullshit.
bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna tell I'm gonna tell you why. Hold
Bullshit.
on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yes. Okay.
Bullshit.
It's
Yeah,
it's not
right.
bullshit. You wanna know why? Because
That.
when when I break up, right? With like me, like I said, I got this understanding thing. So once I understand it's over, I delete all pictures we had. I delete all messages. Everything that was there, I delete. I'm good. I detox, right?
I
Because the
feel it.
one thing I understand is you aren't mine. Even if I'm with you and you chose to be with my frat brother, you're not mine. Now I might get upset about that shit because that's crossing the boundary. But if we're not together no more, in a year or two past, and then all of a sudden y'all link up, and then this will happen. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. I'm like,
Nah,
nigga, I ain't
you
getting
more
that
mature
pussy
than
no
me.
more. Listen,
Shit.
I look at it like this. I ain't getting that pussy no more. Right?
You
I'm not
more
getting
mature
those
than me.
kisses. I'm not
You
getting
more
this. I'm
mature
not
than me.
worried about it because at the end of the day,
Mm-mm.
why? How can I say? Listen though. Now let's use your terminology, right? Let's say I'm married now. So you
Mm-hmm.
mean to tell me that I'm more upset that
Mm-hmm.
y'all got together than being happy with this woman I'm with?
Bruh,
That is
it happens
crazy.
every day. My cousin, who dated this guy in high school, she dated both of these guys. They were both on the same basketball team. Mind you, it's years later. So the one guy that was her boyfriend first, she walks in to a barbecue with the first boyfriend. The second boyfriend, who's married, sitting next to his wife, was fucking pissed.
Because he don't care about his wife.
Yes. I
He
don't
don't
know
care
if it's
about
so
his wife.
much. I don't know if it's so much he don't
How can
care,
you
or
how
is it
can you
so
say that you
much?
care about your wife or your husband if that outshadows the love and the care and
Mm,
affection and memories that you have with this special woman? Because I want to be honest with you. When people are
mm,
happy, nothing
mm-hmm,
bothers them. Nothing outside that happiness bothers them. Why? Because this happiness is heaven. Everything else was mediocre. But when you
see
don't
that?
have that happiness and that bond, right? When you don't
Mm-hmm,
have that togetherness, think about it. When you meet someone where you vibe that you vibe with most more than anybody else,
mm-hmm.
yo, shit, your cousin can go have sex with your baby daddy. and that shit ain't gonna bother you. You just gonna stop fucking with your cousin. You'll be
Period.
like, nah, yeah, but it won't bother you because why? I'm happy, nigga. I'm
I turned
happy.
down. But here's the thing, though. Even if someone that said, I hear what you're saying, and I agree partially, because some men actually had good women, and that was that one that got away. See what I'm saying? If that was the one
Nah,
that got away,
nah.
that's
No,
you.
nobody got away. People push people away, and then people
That's
try
true
to
too.
come back and reclaim what they pushed away.
I had that too
Tell me,
happening today.
how can you go if I'm with you, right? And I'm sitting over here and I'm not trusting you, and then I go and put other women above you and all this there, and then you decide to leave me, and I'm like, oh, she got away. No, nigga, you fucked that up.
But
You
that
just
does not
fucked it
stop
up.
the feeling. That does not stop the feeling. That's the one that got away. I mean,
But
even
you
though what
gotta,
you're saying is
they didn't
actually
get
true.
away. That means you just fucked up, and you got to
I
do
hear what
better
you're
for
saying.
somebody else.
I respect your perspective, but a lot of people do walk around like that's the one that got away. Unfortunately, they don't have that spin on it, right? So they don't have you to educate them on the reality of the situation. But a lot of people are walking around saying that's the one that got away. So they're never gonna be, fuck it. Someone literally be still having that hurt.
You know,
that shit could have been high school.
You know, I don't say that's the one that got away. I don't look at it like that. You know why I say? That's the one that got crashed. So I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. Got crashed.
Can somebody take the soundboard, bro? Just take.
She got crashed, yo.
The soundboard, bro.
You know she happy, right? Oh, her breast stink. Oh, her breast stink. Oh, you know one foot is bigger than the other, right? I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna make me right.
No, it's
toxic
not.
Hell.
Look, what you said, stop it.
Toxic as hell. I'm gonna make me right. What? Did you smell her breath?
So,
if that dude that's what is it? Sierra and what's the dude Sierra married to? The football player. Sierra. Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Look, Future be like, man, that's why his curls all all lippy as shit. Fuck him.
The hate is real, right? But I think too, the condition of it all, and conditional love is such a demise for a couple that's really trying to move forward with each other. You cannot enter a situation and I'm speaking to myself first, right? Didn't realize that I had conditions on somebody that I love. And then now that it has been identified because this person is annoying as shit and they keep doing this, that's that, and that's that. Why you do this? And why you got on track shoes? Because baby, I'm a runner. And not even realizing that when I run, that I'm actually the one I claim that I love, I'm actually hurting. And it's not the fact that I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to avoid my hurt, right? And then realizing too the purpose of the reason why I was running, it was the situations that happened to me in my youth. So it's just like, and then being asked, well, did you stop from hurting? No, I actually was freaking miserable. I was miserable, nigga. I just want you to stop it. Couldn't get them out my mind. It didn't matter what I did, how I did it, and just moped around. And was I happy? No, not at all. But it made me think though, like, wow, I didn't realize that I really had on track shoes in the beginning of the situation when I'm telling him, this is forever. This is forever. You're my forever. But yet still, I didn't have forever mentality, even though that was my words. Was it my intention? Absolutely. Did it give me a reason to? Yeah, some things were said and done, but at the end of the day, when I thought about it, I was like, he says a lot though, because he's long-winded. So at the end of the day, I had to think like, yeah, this dude long-winded, but I had to keep going back to the but. And I think his words always hunted me to the point, I think it made me lightweight depressed because I was just like, but I thought this was the right thing to do because these are the signs and these signs were so familiar to me. And I figured like, it's time for me to bow down because we can't make it from here. And then for him to tell me, but you didn't allow me to make it from there. You cut me off here. And what I thought was nothing, you blew it up to be into a mountain when it was actually an anthill. And it's like, you see what I'm saying? And it was just like, wow, I actually was the one who loves somebody conditionally. Well, usually I'm the one that's unconditional. So it's just like we have to stop bringing past into our present. Conditional love is actual as a bomb, is a bomb ticking in a beautiful situation with a person, and not realizing that your conditional love will actually turn the person off that's really trying to love you unconditionally, because you can't keep stabbing at him and he keeps putting a band-aid on it when the whole time you're not even really trying. So it's just like that was the reality for me, and I didn't realize how much conditional love actually is in me, because I never thought I was a conditional type person until somebody that really loves you is like conditional, and they're annoying and shit, and on top of that they're petty. So it's just really to the third power, conditional, conditional, and you're like, but it's not. Yeah, but it is. And it's just like, okay, but having the space to have errors, and then having the space for the improvement, and still have this, like, babe, okay, you over it? I'm over it. Oh, I'm gonna get you though. I'm gonna be on some petty shit for a little while, but we good. Come back. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like that's the beauty and growth. That's the beauty, and that's how it should be. And I was like, wow, he actually loves me unconditionally with no conditions, and it's a forever type situation. To the point it had me thinking like, wow, I need to change this, this, and this, because this is what I wanted, and I finally got it. So why would I allow a conditional mindset to push away? And the first thing women say, well, he wasn't for me to begin. And no, sweetie, actually he was. You keep asking the universe for this man, and he actually placed this man to you. You can't get out your conditional mindset. So he removed his blessing from you. So my thing is, it's like we have to grow up. I'm often told, take your emotion out of it. Stick in the facts. I live in facts. And it's just like you have somebody tell you that, like, shut up. The fact of the matter is, my feelings is real. And he's like, no, it's not. Because you're an emotional, because you're reacting. When actuality is, live in facts. This was said, this was said, this was said. The fact of the matter is, this is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's just like, we have to get to the point where women, we have to start healing, for one. For two, when you realize that you have a man that's willing to walk through your healing, embrace him. Embrace that. And let go of the conditions. Because the love that he has for you is going to cause you to let him go. Because love and unconditional and conditional can't stand together. That's a house divided. So yeah, at the end of the day, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I lost.
You want to feel like,
there you go.
Yeah, you're going to feel like you're being robbed at some point. You're going to feel like, that person is sucking the life out of you and they're not replenishing. So, I always tell people, stay out of your emotions, because your emotions going to be like, I feel this is going on. And then you'll be like, you know what? This is going on. This is what it is. Like, or they'll be like, you said this to me. You'll be like, no, I didn't. But, well, basically you said this. No, I didn't. This is what I said. This is my exact words. And they'll be like, no, you called me a fucker. You called me. No, I did not. That was not my word. So you're reacting to how you feel that person was saying, rather than what that actual person was saying. And what we're going to do is, what's your final word on it? Because we like 3 minutes over.
My final words is, conditional love does not bring you anything forever. And if you're looking for somebody, and the reason why I say forever, the person that enters in my life, I told him, husbands leave. I'm not interested in a husband. I'm interested in my forever, right? Which means we're loving beyond conditions. And he's displayed that to me. So you have to get to that point, women. If you're not healed, if you're still hurting, be by yourself. It's okay to be alone and have that space of healing. And then go back into a situation with unconditional love, because it's so beautiful when it's unconditional. Take off the conditional mindset. That's my last and final word. I'm bringing enlightenment to you, my brother.
It's sad when I'm keeping time for it. Sad. This feels weird.
No, this
You
this
know?
is called growth, ladies, gentlemen. This is growth.
me keeping time. But that's today's show. We hope that you enjoyed it. And my last final words is simple. All I'm going to tell you is stay in fact. I want to tell people that everything can be worked out. You just have to have the patience and the maturity to work it out and say, is this what I'm worth? This was worth fighting for, or do I just tired of fighting by myself? These are things that you can think about, whether you're in monogamous or poly relationship, because people in poly act like you're not fighting. You're going to have to fight, especially when you have a new person coming in and they want to take over or whatever, and you're going to have to say, hey, what's going on? And you know. So my thing about it is, people should just be mature and be adults about it and actually talk. Don't talk at each other, talk with each other. And that's today's show.
Yay!